Hello everybody, I hope that you are all doing well today. In today's video, I will be doing a watch list update for the upcoming week, talking about these 10 tickers that you see on the right hand side of your screen. So most of these tickers I found through my scans or Twitter, which happens to be one of the best scans a trader can use. But I am not doing as much of a fundamental analysis today. It'll be mostly predicated around technical analysis just because there's a lot of tickers, so that's why it's doubly important for you guys to all do your own research, and none of what you see or hear today is obviously financial advice. So starting off the watch list with Fubo. So Fubo, as you can see, is making a beautiful equilibrium pattern here and is at support. We can see that we are bouncing right off a couple key support areas at the 200 moving average as well as the 100 moving average. We have a big massive volume shelf that's acting as a springboard for price action here. On the weekly chart, like I said, we can really see this equilibrium shaping up a lot better. So we have a strong impulse wave to the upside, pull back to the 100 EMA, impulse move to the upside, lower high compared to 62.29, and a higher low now is trying to form compared to this January 4th low. Volume looks very good overall. We have a lot of bull volume accumulated throughout this price structure, and in the most recent pullback here, we can see that volume has remained relatively low, although we do see an increasing percentage of volume in the last couple days. Those candles have low wicks, which does suggest a bullish sentiment overall. So targets on Fubo, taking a Fibonacci retracement from the top pivot here to the bottom pivot here, assuming that the bottom is in. We get a couple targets of the golden pocket right around 45.49. So this would kind of be the first bounce or the first impulse wave to the upside. I am expecting a lower high to ensue after this bounce. Bulls still need to change that daily trend, as is the case for most of these names here. I am firstly looking for lower highs. So once we see that bounce, we will watch if bulls can make a higher low and then break the interim pivot high, confirming the daily trend change and the bullishness. So this first target here is just for a quick bounce to lock in some profit. The second target is right around the last pivot high of 57.47. So front running it and the $55 psychological level by just a bit, but adding on another 10 points in the move overall, which should lock in a significant gain. The last target, just below 75, firstly, that's a psychological number, and as well we have the weekly 200 moving average coming in as resistance. So front run both of those major resistance points, the psychological level and the EMA. So that's Fubo. Next on the docket is Fizz. So what we can see with Fizz here is we have a beautiful strong run up, a steep pullback to major moving average support. We've been consolidating between the 50 and the 100 EMA for a number of sessions, and it looks like price action is breaking out of this consolidation phase. As you can see here, we do have a daily downtrend, but bulls are looking to break. They have broken this February 25th pivot high in the last session, so we can confirm that the daily trend has changed for the bulls. Extra confirmation will be any little pullback here, retest, resistance now turns support, and then seeing continuation to the upside. But this looks quite convincing to me. We do have some lateral support from our previous breakout level, which again is adding a lot of bullish sentiment to this thesis overall, and a massive volume shelf, which is acting as a springboard. Volume looks terrific. We have big bull volume accumulation in late January, early February, and then we have seen a substantial uptick in bullish volume over the last two sessions. Looking at targets here, again, using Fibonacci from the pivot high to the pivot low, assuming this is the low. Front running the 618 and the psychological 75 level as a first target, which will make a very nice move. The second target, front running the 90 psychological as well as our pivot high here. This alone will be a terrific bounce, and I am only expecting a lower high compared to the 98.22 pivot high. VERU, this has been a very popular stock on Twitter. Again, Twitter is my favorite scan of all time, so utilizing that to my advantage. But the bullishness behind this stock is completely warranted. So we see a strong impulse wave to the upside, massive consolidation, and then a big bull break. We have given that entire move up and are retesting previous resistance, now turn support for the first time since our February breakout. We can see prices pull back steeply on very low volume to the 50 EMA, and as I said, lateral support. We have a massive volume shelf acting as a potential springboard should price come down, but given the fact that we have a terrific Dragonfly Doji acting as a bullish indicator of a reversal, I would expect continuation higher from here. So again, I am only expecting a lower high considering how much of a steep pullback this was. First target will be the golden pocket, front running the $20 psychological level at 1941, and the second target at 2354, front running this top pivot as well. So I would expect bulls to bounce, try to make a higher low, and then break the interim pivot high to confirm that daily trend change and see continued upside move. Next stock here is Fubo. So Futo. Man, I keep getting that wrong. Next stock here is Fu2. Should probably learn how to pronounce the stocks I trade before entering a position, but I guess that's redundant. So we all know the story behind this stock. We have a massive impulse wave to the upside that happened in November to December, and we saw a terrific Santa Claus rally out of this stock, which saw incredible gains. I had originally posted about this stock when it was breaking out here. I took profit at about $60 and $70, and obviously we have seen considerable movement up. So this stock always hurts me to look at, but hopefully we will have another opportunity to make some more money. So we have a strong impulse wave to the upside this time and a nice low volume pullback and having a great bounce off of that 50 EMA, filling this gap from early February as well. We have a beautiful reversal candle here, nice hammer, like I said, right off of that 50 EMA and also previous resistance area. The volume is very telling. This is why I know this stock is ready for another move to the upside. We have massive bull volume accumulated throughout this price structure and no bear volume comes close. So like I said, I am expecting another strong move up from Fu2 here. So the first target, front running the 200 psychological level and this pivot high. Second target will be 239.28, right below the negative 236 algo target. Now I will say one thing, I guess it is similar for every stock that I am reviewing today. These targets are subject to change just based off of how price is reacting. If we have a very lollygagging bounce here, obviously these targets are adjusted to the downside. And if we see strong bullish momentum to the upside without any indication of a reversal, then I can move the second target up higher because obviously we know this stock likes to run. If that's the case, then we could look to a 300 psychological. I don't know Fibonacci too well, but it is possible that this is a first wave, second, and then an impulse wave to the upside for the third. But again, don't take my word on that Elliott wave analysis. Nonetheless, I do think we could get some considerable upside, and these targets are very conservative. FLGT is the next stock, so I traded this guy back here when we saw this breakout to the upside. I think I took profits around the $100 psychological level, and obviously that went considerably higher, but we have another opportunity here. This is a steeper pullback, and we can see a clear loss of the daily uptrend, so bulls do have a lot of work cut out for them. However, we are seeing some phenomenal bull volume come in after this earnings report. So we had a 56.44% surprise, which is adding a lot of bullish sentiment to the stock overall. I know it's a red candle and a green print. It's just based off of where this candle closes. So since it closed higher than the previous session, it is classified as a bullish indication. So targets here are the golden pocket, 148.87, front running that 150 psychological. Nice conservative target to lock in some initial gains. Next target, again, I don't have it too high up, front running the 180 psychological and this pivot high. Again, subject to change. If we see some strong continuation to the upside like we saw in early February, then I can move my stop higher and feel comfortable about it. But based off the size of this pullback, the lower high is the most likely outcome. KOPM, next stock here. So we have a strong run up, very similar pattern to the other stocks we've been watching and the ones to come. A nice low volume pullback to the 50 EMA as well as the golden pocket here. So a nice bullish retracement. We see a tremendous amount of bull volume here. So this looks primed and ready for higher. First target here is 1336, front running that pivot high. Now, since this is a more or less shallow correction, I would expect full continuation to the first algo target at least. So I have a second target of 1594 on this guy. PCAR. So PCAR has a nice, again, impulse wave to the upside. Now we are making a nice equilibrium on top of the major EMA support. We do have a tremendous amount of volume shelf to bounce off of, and we are hitting the 618 golden pocket as well. Again, all bullish indications. So PCAR had a lot of relative strength last week when things were getting pretty ugly in the markets. So that's why I put it on this list. I think if it can withstand that pullback, obviously it is in an industry that is not being affected by this rotation. So once things settle down, it could likely explode. Based off the volume, we have a lot of bull volume accumulated in this early price structure and low volume ever since. Nice bullish print on the Friday candle. So this is a potential sign that the bounce is in. Full confirmation would be if we get over this March 3rd pivot high of 96.47. For targets, I think getting to the -236 algo target will be kind of relatively easy considering the strength. So once the market stabilizes a little bit more, continuation to the upside is the most likely outcome. And then the next target, 113.75, front running that -618 level. SPWR. So this stock has had a deep retracement here. Looking at the weekly chart, we can see it basically hasn't seen weekly consolidation in this entire run up since the summer. So we're finally getting some notable weekly consolidation. I am anticipating that this will form a weekly or daily equilibrium, and then we will see continuation to the upside once the EMAs catch back up. I guess it wouldn't be as exponential as that, but you get the gist. So again, getting that first weekly consolidation underway. Solar is very overextended at the moment. I can show you the ETF quick. So solar hasn't really had a weekly consolidation as well since the COVID dump. So we have seen a parabolic move to the upside, and this is our first weekly consolidation. So like I said, similar to SPWR, we are likely to see some sort of equilibrium and then continuation to the upside once this has a chance to consolidate these gains. So that is why I'm expecting a bounce. We are coming down to the 0.5 Fibonacci and holding that on the weekly chart. So taking it from the pivot low here to the pivot high, excuse me, we can see that, like I said, bouncing off of that 0.5. So that's a good indication that we will see continuation higher. Then we back in on the daily chart. The first target I have is 49.53. As you can see, we are in a daily downtrend, so we have made a double bottom here. If we break over this pivot high, the daily downtrend has been reversed. So that first target I have, front running the $50 psychological level and this price structure as well. And then once this consolidates on the weekly, I ultimately have a target of 70, although I do think it could get much higher. So we back out on the weekly. If we do enter some sort of pennant consolidation, I would anticipate closer to that 618, potentially even $100 psychological level. But that will be a few months away. Mara is the next stock. So this one is closely affiliated with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been holding quite steadily in this market environment. So that's reflected in Mara's price action here, with strong run up and brief consolidation, only getting to the 50 EMA, while a lot of momentum name stocks have seen dips into the 100 and 200. So although we are technically in a daily downtrend, I do see this as more bullish, a little bit of a bear break down through this pivot high set or pivot low set on February 23rd. And then we see a nice bullish reaction off of the 50 EMA, off of lateral support, off of the golden pocket with a nice lower wick. Volume is telling. We see a tremendous amount of bull volume accumulated throughout this price structure, and in this consolidation phase, basically zero volume, nothing notable for the bears. So once the market stabilizes, this is a definite contender for continuation higher. First target I have, 47.43, very conservative, but again, front running this pivot high. And then the next will be the -236 algo target at 56.31. Although based off this price structure, I would not be surprised to see continuation to the -618. And lastly here, SLS. This is one of my favorite stocks actually on the list. So I do not know much about the company. I do not know the fundamentals. If you look on the monthly chart, it is quite terrific. This stock has had a massive meltdown. So there might be some potential fundamental news that would make this stock bearish. So again, do your own research. But I do think it's setting up very nicely here. We have this incredible pennant formulating here. Price has been holding the 50 EMA, but we have massive volume shelf acting as a springboard, and the 200 and 100 just below. Excuse me again. So volume, huge bull volume accumulated as well. And now that we are consolidating, I do see a potential target. I'm only targeting the previous two pivot highs. So my first target being 1284, front running the $13 psychological level, and then ultimately 1877, front running our previous pivot high over the last several months. So that is the watch list. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, and I will talk to you more later this week.